Good morning, Bulldogs. It's Tuesday, April 2nd, and we're one day before the kickoff of our 2019 CAASPP testing for our juniors, you guys. So I'm going to go through a quick summary of stuff that we've already talked about. I've already visited all your classrooms, told you what teams you're on, the day of the testing, all the schedule, but I just want to review that to make sure that we're on the same page. So again, here is a picture of the schedule for the 3 days of testing. It's going to start with ELT, so you're going to go to your ELT teacher. They're going to take attendance, and then as soon as attendance is done, you're going to go off to the old gym, which is where we're going to feed you breakfast. You'll have a hot or a cold option, okay? You'll stay there for the duration of ELT. Even if you've eaten at home, we want all the juniors to be in the class or in the old gym so that we can get you guys ready for testing. Now, when you leave, you'll go to your assigned classrooms, and that's where you'll start the test. The test will comprise, the first part on April 3rd will be the CAT of English, Computer Adaptive Testing, okay? And after that, basically 208 minutes, you'll roll into lunch, and then once lunch is over, you'll come back and you'll do the PT test for English. So English will be done in one day. The next day is the math day, 246 day, but the 246, 135 doesn't matter to you because you're going to the same classroom you were at for all of your testing. So Thursday we'll start the same way with ELT, breakfast, and then we'll go into the CAT for math, and then the PT for math. And then the last day of testing, April 10th, is a Wednesday, and that's the science test called the CAST, C-A-S-T. The CAST is only in the morning. There's not two parts for it, but the day will start the same way. You will go in, take attendance in ELT, you'll return to get some breakfast, and then after that, you'll go to your classroom for your science testing. All right, again, here's the picture of all your classroom assignments. Remember that the teams are broken up, so it's a competition between the participation for all 3 days. The two classes with the highest participation rate are going to have pizza from administration. We're going to serve that to you guys as a reward. So hopefully we're going to have a bunch of ties, and we got to buy pizza for everybody. So if everybody was at 100%, that would be an awesome problem to have. But we need you here. So again, this list your teachers have. This is where you'll test all 3 days, okay, with the same teacher, same proctor. The only difference is one room where one day it's Miss Rivera in E17, the other day it's Miss Rock for 2 of the 3 days. But everybody else, the exact same teacher, exact same place. One of the things I want to reiterate when you come into the class, you really don't need a backpack today. You guys have taken AP tests. You know that you don't need anything. We will provide pencils. We'll provide scratch paper. We'll provide graph paper. You don't need to bring anything with you when you come to the class, except on the English day. If you're taking the English test, you'll need your earbuds. If you forget them, we'll have a pair for you. But during the English portion of the testing, which is the only section, you'll have to have earbuds to hear some of the text that's read to you, okay? But please don't bring a backpack. If you bring your cell phones or if you have a Google Watch, anything that can access the internet has to be removed, and it's going to be placed either in the box that the teacher has up front, or they're going to designate where you're going to put it. So as soon as you walk in a room, be ready to put away your stuff. But it's very easy just to leave your backpacks at home because you won't need it. It's the only thing you're doing that day is your testing. The calculator will be available in the embedded tools and some of the other embedded tools I want to talk about as well as we go through the rest of this presentation. In this picture here, you see just a practice question from the English portion. On the right side of the question, you'll see a little pull-down menu. And when you click the pull down, a couple things will pop up with your tools. There's a tutorial there. So if it tells you to do something like highlight text or annotate or whatever it tells you to do and you don't know how to do that, the tutorial is a quick video that you can listen to and watch during the test that'll show you how to do that. The other thing that says mark for review is a choice. So let's say you get done with the question and you want to come back to it at the end of the test before you submit it. You can just click on that and you flag it basically, and at the end of the test you'll be able to go back to those, or end of that section, you'll be able to go back and check that question before you submit it. And then the last thing that's up there, and this is the English example, is the notepad. So if you wanted to take notes, so you're hearing somebody read text to you and you want to jot down notes, you can do that in Notepad and refer back to that when you're answering your questions. In the math, if a calculator is available, it'll be embedded in that tool. Hopefully you've all been exposed to it this year. English, science, and math have all given you guys a test in our efforts to make you familiar with all the different resources that are available to you to be successful. This picture is really important for you to understand. This is what you'll see at the end of each test, okay? End of the ELA, CAT, ELA PT, Math CAT, Math PT, Science. And they're asking you, first you'll see at the top there, items for review. If you clicked that area where you want to review a question, they're going to appear up there. So it might be number 10, number 22, number 50. Then you could go back and review those and then submit them. And then the survey question at the very end, you have to answer one way or the other. It's release or do not release. And if you select release, which is what we want you to do for your benefit, if your scores are high enough, they will count in the CSU system or the California Community College system that you can go in college ready. What does that mean? You won't have to take any introductory math or English courses, and that saves money. You don't have to buy textbooks, you don't have to pay the tuition, and you'll do very well because you did very well. So please make sure that you're answering the survey questions. Again, if you just click release or don't release, we really encourage you to release your scores. All right, this picture kind of captures things that we're focused on. You're going to hear a presentation after me from the juniors, the current seniors from their junior year, what they learned from the test. But we want you guys to give what's called a 212 effort, and that may not make any sense to you, but 212 is the boiling point of water. If you get water and it only goes to 211 degrees, it doesn't boil. Well, if you get to 212 because you gave that extra effort, you can make water boil. Well, what does that mean? Well, you can actually move a 40,000-ton locomotive with steam. You can do all kinds of things with an extra effort. So we really want you guys to do your best effort. We've talked about it in our practice sessions. We've talked about it with you and your teachers. Many people have talked to you guys about giving your best effort because this test does matter, and the seniors will share some light on why it's so important. But the success that we enjoy as a community, okay, it's all of us together, and then this is our measuring stick, is this test. So we really need you to do your best. So good luck starting tomorrow on the test, and then Thursday, and then a week later on the 10th, we're going to do the science test. Remember, be that class that gets the pizza because your effort was outstanding and you all showed up. So hold each other accountable, give a 212 effort. Now I'm going to turn it over to the seniors who are going to cover some of the things that they learned while taking the test last year. Thank you.
Okay, hey guys, I'm Mitchell Sutter. I'm here with Juan Cortez, and we're going to be presenting on the CAASPP test from a student perspective. Ernst has already gone over with you guys a little from the admin perspective, but both Juan and I took this test last year, and we're here to talk about how we think you guys can improve your scores when you take it this year, because that's something we really need to do.
All right, so what is it? Mr. Ernst has already talked to you guys about it before. Standardized test. You guys are going to be taking it April 3rd, 4th, and the 10th. It's all juniors across California, so not just us. We're not the only ones having to suffer.
Okay, so why is this CAASPP test important? First off, it's an indicator of college and career readiness. A little of your some of your scores can be used on college admissions. You can click a box, and colleges can choose whether they want to use your scores to assess your aptitude for admissions. But more importantly, and more of a, I guess, pride that is involved with the CAASPP test is it's a competition between all California schools. It shows which schools are performing, exceeding standards, meeting standards, and basically it puts you who's performing better and who's smarter, I guess, in these standards. So it's competition.
Getting into it, how is Ramona done? As you can see, bad. Later on, we'll have like little data to show like the scores and all, but clear indication this is what we think a Poway classroom looks like. That's why their scores are so high. All right, so 30% for proficiency. As Mitchell has said before, this is at least a C or better passing this test. It's a pretty low number compared to other schools. We're beating some, but still low on the level. Think of it like this: what if we were at an airport and we saw our pilot of the plane? We asked him, "How confident are you like to get us to our destination?" And he said, "About 30% confident." How would that make you guys feel? This is kind of saying how only 30% of the RHS students are actually landing that plane, while the other 70% are maybe crashing down somewhere else.
So here's a look at the data. As you can see, we have 4 schools listed here. We are one of them. Um, These percentages that you see on screen, those are the percent of our students that are meeting standards. So that means they're passing the test with proficiency, which is about a C. So looking at Ramona, 2016, 2017, 2018, only about 30% of our student population has passed this test. And honestly, that doesn't make me happy. That just shows that we're a little behind the curve compared to these other schools. If you take a look at Poway and Del Norte, Poway, in all 3 years that we've observed test scores, over half their student population has passed this test. Looking at Del Norte, over 70, well, averaging 75% of their students pass this test every year. That's almost a 50% difference between us and Del Norte. And in these coming years and with your junior class, we hope that we can see an increase in our scores so we can be academically at the same level as these schools like Poway and Del Norte. But we did include El Cajon on here because Ramona, we are not the very bottom. We are beating a few schools around San Diego County, and there's a little hope, and that's something we can be proud of and look to improve upon when you guys take this test.
We need to do better. Ramona has scored too low for too long, and it's now time for the Bulldogs to start fresh. That's with you juniors. We're starting to go up a little bit, but you guys can make that big increase that we need.
So, since Juan and I took this test last year, we have a few tips that can help you perform better and prepare better for this test. First off, you guys have already done a little practice with it from our knowledge. You got on some Chromebooks and did some practice problems. So, you already know how the test looks and how it feels, but that's not all about test taking. And if you look to the screen, preparation is key in taking tests. Both Juan and I would know. Make sure you get a good night's sleep all week, not just the night before. Good breakfast. That's something new that the school's doing this year. Before, when Juan and I were juniors, we took this test, and there were some things we didn't like how it went. We felt stressed with time. We felt that we had to balance our other classes in the same day. The whole structure of the test taking periods just wasn't ideal for scoring high. So this year, Mr. Newman and administration, they made some changes to help out you guys. And one of the things is that breakfast that we're going to take advantage of and just put all our effort into this test. Remember, stay relaxed, stress free. I mean, this test is the only thing you're going to be doing that day, and you might as well put your full effort in it. A big thing is actually trying on the test. We've had students in the past, they start the test and then they click through all the answers within about 5 minutes. That's not helping you, that's not helping the school, and we were going to want to try to avoid that. So actually put your full effort into the test. Um, and to pass the test, make sure these are just general test taking tips. They apply to the CAASPP, the SAT, AP tests, anything you want them to. So read the directions carefully, read the prompts before reading. Once again, relax, manage your time. Time isn't a huge constrict. It's not a huge conflict on this test. You're not going to find yourself rushing. You have plenty of time to finish this. And if you feel like it, go back and check your work. No harm done. So just kind of a last slide of motivation on just to really convince you guys that this test matters. So first off, money. Certain performances on this test is going to bring money into the school district and the high school specifically. So I know a lot of people, we come from a small school and we don't have the financial ability that some other schools down the hill do. But if you guys want to increase that, this CASP test, there's one way we can get a little more money in our pockets.
College apps, it's not the main indicator for some college admissions, but the schools will look at it to kind of see like where you are at like on like a level, depending if you're good, like if you can pass at least some minor classes.
So, third, it helps your teachers out. So the scores you get on the CASP, they're going to show teachers what you need to work on, what you already mastered. So then the next year when you're seniors, the curriculum is going to change. So if you're a master at algebra and you do really good on algebra on the CASP test, your classes aren't going to be doing as much algebra. You're going to be working on things that you need to work on to go into college, vocational school, or just later on in life. It's going to make your curriculum specific and more adapted to your needs rather than just kind of staying general and not uh, diving into the specifics of what you really need to work on.
Skip class. So that day, you're getting breakfast in the morning. You have no other classes after the test. So it's going to be the test the whole day. Us juniors, we had the experience where we had to take classes before or after, take the test as well. So it was a little bit harder on us trying to balance between the two. But you guys just have this test that day. Why not to put your effort into that test and give it your best shot?
So, kind of wrapping together some of these reasons, the CASP will shape your future. The results are going to lead to significant and beneficial changes to not only this community, but our whole district, and honestly, the United States academic curriculum as a whole. And that kind of makes me feel like I matter and that I'm a part of something big. And I hope you guys feel that too. And it's this CASP coming up, it's a way to show your stuff.
If you have a proficient enough CASP test, colleges will look at that and see that you know the minimum requirements for certain criteria for schools, thus eliminating like any classes you would have had to take before and save money and time.
So thank you guys. If you have any questions, we're gonna have people popping in and out of classrooms. You can find us on campus if you missed that opportunity. And good luck.